Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss the chapter Human Digestive System. Food we all know that we eat gets converted into energy by the process of respiration, but that respiration requires the food to be broken down into simpler form. And this breaking of food into simpler form is by the process of digestion. We all have discussed this process many a time in our you can say complete history of education. So let us repeat it today once again. So the process of conversion of complex food substance to a simple absorbable form is called digestion. Now what is digested? It is biomacromolecules. This biomacromolecules comprises of basically carbohydrate number 1, protein number 2, fats number 3 on a major basis. And these cannot be utilized in a body in their original form. That means we have to break down them into simpler substances. Like for example, carbohydrates are to be broken down into simple sugar, or you can say glucose. In the same way, we have to break down protein into amino acids or amino acids. Fats are to be broken down into fatty acids and glycerols. And this complete breaking happens in our digestive system during the process of digestion with the help of various enzymes and chemicals. Now, chemicals, if I give you example, you all must have heard about HCl in our stomach, which is secreted by oxytic cells uh, to actually digest the food, or you can say, first of all, convert that food into acidic form, and also to activate pepsin. So there are various activities related with various chemicals and enzymes. This digestion which we are actually talking about occurs in this alimentary canal, or you can say this continuous canal, which starts from oral cavity or the buccal cavity, you can see over here, and ends in the anus. In between there are other compartments also, like after buccal cavity we had food pipe or esophagus that actually leads the food into the stomach. Then we have the third part, stomach, then intestine, then large intestine ending at the rectum and anus. Different processes occur in this alimentary canal in different compartments. The very first process, which is ingestion, occurs in buccal cavity. Ingestion is actually intake of food. You must have taken your lunch or dinner, whatsoever time you're watching this video today. So when you have taken in that food, that process was called ingestion, and that process occurred through mouth, and which allowed the food to come into your buccal cavity or your oral cavity. From there, digestion started. By after that, that digested part which got digested in your mouth was then taken to the stomach with the help of food pipe or esophagus, and in the stomach the second process started, which was called digestion. After digestion was done in the stomach, then some part of digestion is done in small intestine as well. After that, the third process of absorption starts in small intestine. Then after the food is absorbed by a body and taken to various part of the cell, then what happens in respiration happens, and the energy from that food is utilized, which is called assimilation, which is actually the food process. And after assimilation, whatever is left is being discharged out. That is the fecal removal, which is the fourth part. So the sorry, which is the fifth part. You can say these five processes are occurring in this complete continuous canal or the alimentary canal during digestion. Now all this is happening one by one. That means there needs to be a very good coordination in this alimentary canal, which is also called gastrointestinal tract. What's the other name? Gastrointestinal tract. So in this gastrointestinal tract, when all these processes happening one by one, there needs to be a coordination, and that coordination is maintained by our nervous system, or you can say it happens through neural control as well as hormonal control. Sometimes when you see a good food or you smell something good, your mouth starts watering. How does that happen? It is all through nervous and neural, or you can say neural plus hormonal control. When you see something, there's a stimulus in your body which actually reports it to the salivary gland, and salivary gland starts secreting saliva, so your mouth starts watering. The process of digestion starts with the buccal cavity also called the oral cavity, which has teeth, tongue, saliva coming from salivary amylase. Now we all know the first process of taking food into our body is called ingestion, or you can say intake of food, which actually starts with the mouth, which leads to the buccal cavity. When you intake your food, what happens? There are teeth present in our mouth. How many teeth? As an adult, I have 32. When I was a child, I was having 20. So sometimes these type of stupid questions also come in our mind. How many teeth we have or how many teeth we had. So actually, I'm going to tell you certain terms related to that. See, majority of mammals, including humans, have two set of teeth during their life cycle. This particular fact give them a technical term, and we all are called diphyodont. What are we called? Diphyodont. So all those mammals, including humans, who have two sets of teeth during their life cycle are called diphyodont. First is temporary teeth or the deciduous or the milk teeth, which is replaced by permanent or adult teeth. So when we were having temporary, they were 20, and now we have permanent 32. So how many of you are having 32? Just go and count it, because I am not having. I am still having 28. And that is why I think I haven't received wisdom at this age of my life yet. See, actually, we have four types of teeth, starting with incisor, which are the first four teeth here as well as here. Total eight incisors we have. No, this is not canine, this is incisor. Alright. Then we have two sharp canines in the upper jaw as well as lower jaw. That is four canines. Now these canines are for tearing of flesh. They help in tearing of flesh. And what is incisor doing? Scissor is for cutting. So incisor is also for cutting or biting. So cutting, biting is done by incisor, and tearing of flesh is done by canine, and then chewing is done by molars and premolars. So these are four types of teeth which we have. Now that is why human can also be given one more technical term, that is we are heterodont. What are we? We are heterodonts. Heterodonts means we have four types of teeth. That makes us heterodont. Then there's a fleshy thing in between which is called tongue, and this tongue is actually having not finger-like, but hair-like projections. And these hair-like projections are called papillae. And these papillae actually have taste bud, so which help you taste food and tell whether it is sweet, sour, bitter, whatsoever it is. This tongue is attached to the oral cavity or buccal cavity with the help of a small connecting tissue type structure which is called frenulum. Alright. Now the task of the tongue is to mix the food with saliva. So teeth are going to chew it and break down that food into simpler form. Now how they are able to break it down? Because teeth have the hardest possible covering inside the complete human body, that is called enamel. Enamel is the hardest substance present in the human body, and teeth are made of that. Sorry, upper part of the teeth is made up of enamel. So that helps to break down whatever you eat into simpler forms, and then tongue just mixes saliva with that food, and that food is converted into bolus. Now, bolus is that food which is mixed with saliva. Now, what does saliva do, and how does this saliva reach over there? So that is another question which comes into our mind. Now, one more technical term which I want to tell you is that sometimes we see chewing word written, and sometimes we don't see that word chewing written. Instead, a word is written mastication. So mastication is a technical term for chewing. Remember this word. All right, mastication. Then there are three types, or you can say three salivary glands in our body. Number one is sublingual. Now, when we say lingual, lingua word in English means your lips. All right, and when we sub means lower lip. Supra means upper lip, and sub means lower lip. So sublingual gland means there's a gland present below the lower lip, that is a sublingual. Then submandibular, again sub means the lower one, mandible means jaw, so that is below the lower jaw. Then parotid is present in cheek, and this is the largest salivary gland present in the mouth. So three salivary glands are there: sublingual, submandibular, and parotid, from where saliva is secreted. Now this saliva has a pH value of 6.8. Alright, and this saliva contains electrolytes. Those electrolytes can be sodium ion, potassium ion, chloride ion, or bicarbonate ion. Along with that, it has salivary amylase, which is an enzyme. And one more enzyme is present over there along with salivary amylase, which is called lysozyme. Salivary amylase, the task of this is to break down starch. So it breaks starch into simple sugar, which is actually maltose. Not complete starch is broken down, only 30% starch is broken down into maltose over here itself in the mouth with the help of salivary amylase. And lysozyme acts as an antibacterial agent. It prevents any bacteria from entering into the alimentary canal. So this all function happens in our mouth, and later on that bolus is then transferred with the help of esophagus to our stomach, which from where further process of digestion is carried on. So this was all about digestion for today. I think this all you must have learned and uh, easily remembered by now. So thank you. That was all from today's class. Next we'll meeting in the next session. Till then, thank you and God bless you.